Iraqi President Saddam Hussein would have never been caught by America if he had not liked this Iraqi dish called mashkouf. For 32 weeks, the US Army tried its best. But there was no news of Iraq's former President Saddam Hussein. Not only was the US military working day and night on this mission, but US Special Forces, CIA, Defense Intelligence Agency, National Security Agency and FBI also played a very big role. Thousands of people from these departments were looking for just one person: Saddam Hussein. What was the threat to America from this person, and how did they finally find Saddam Hussein inside a hidden grave 6 feet below the ground? Once again, cheers in ZemTV's videos. Viewers, this story begins after the 91 attacks in America when Al-Qaeda attacked New York and Washington, D.C. The whole world saw America's anger over this statement. At that time, American President George Bush decided that anyone who supports terrorism will be targeted. Of course, Saddam Hussein, who was the dictator of Iraq at that time, was not directly involved in 91. But America felt that Saddam Hussein indirectly supported various terrorist groups. But this allegation was not enough to directly attack Iraq. It was confirmed that the US wanted to end the hold of Saddam Hussein in Iraq. He had been ruling there in various roles for the last 24 years. Therefore, the US needed a solid reason to end Saddam Hussein's rule in Iraq and attack there. For which America started claiming that Saddam Hussein was hiding weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. That is, nuclear weapons. Making this claim the basis, America attacked Iraq in March 2003. In this task, America was supported by the military of UK, Australia and Poland, who fought and reached Iraq's capital Baghdad in just 3 weeks. On the very first day of the attack on Iraq, President Saddam Hussein disappeared. And when the American military reached Baghdad, they could not find any trace of Saddam Hussein. US tanks and troops captured Baghdad and toppled Saddam Hussein's 24-year-old throne. The troops celebrated their victory by toppling Saddam Hussein's statue in the famous Firdaus Square. But Saddam Hussein's statue had already fallen, but finding and toppling the real Saddam Hussein was probably not going to be that easy. Now finding Saddam and the top officials of his government was the top priority of the US military. Every soldier of the US military was given full power that if Saddam and his 51 officials are seen anywhere, they should be captured and presented dead or alive. But there were a total of 52 officials in the list of these most wanted. Special playing cards were printed to make everyone remember their faces, in which pictures of Saddam Hussein and his 51 officers were printed. Because there are a total of 52 cards in playing cards and there were only 52 names in the list of most wanted. Due to this, when soldiers played the game during free time, they memorized the faces of their targets by seeing them again and again. For the next several months, the US military searched every inch of Iraq. Raids were conducted on houses, relatives were investigated, shops, colleges, mosques, nothing was left. They only knew that Saddam was in Iraq, but where was he? This continued for several months. But no trace of Saddam Hussein and his 2 sons could be found. After this, the US announced that whoever would give any information about Saddam Hussein or his sons would be given a reward of $55 million. A reward of $15 million each was placed on his sons and $25 million on Saddam Hussein. Many people in Iraq were against Saddam Hussein himself. And for this reason, America was sure that even if it was due to greed for money, they would definitely get some information. And this is exactly what happened. A man went to the US military base and said that Saddam Hussein's 2 sons Uday and Qusay are present in my house. At first, no one believed it. But when the US military surrounded that house from all sides, it was found that Uday and Qusay were indeed present there. They were not ready to come out directly because they were also fully armed. So after making several attempts, a missile attack was carried out on the house. When the soldiers went inside the house, they found the dead bodies of both Uday and Qusay. That is, the last hope of knowing the whereabouts of Saddam Hussein was also lost. But the US military did not accept its defeat. On the other hand, many of Saddam Hussein's associates were found and arrested alive, but no information was found from anywhere. Now 4 months had passed and the matter reached a point that the US military now started thinking that maybe Saddam Hussein had also died in some attack. Thinking this, the efforts of the US military also started decreasing. Neither any military operation nor any intelligence report was indicating that Saddam Hussein was alive. But during this time an audio tape changed the whole plot. This audio tape was of Saddam Hussein in which he was expressing grief over the death of both his sons. This audio tape meant that Saddam Hussein was still alive. America once again intensified its efforts to find Saddam Hussein, and the reward of $25 million on his head was increased to $30 million, and the person giving information was also promised US citizenship. In the greed of such a huge amount, everyone started trying their luck. Iraqi people started giving random information, in the hope that if Saddam Hussein was caught from there, they would get the reward money. But this made America's work more difficult. Almost all the people printed on the cards had been caught. Only a few were left, including Saddam Hussein. Meanwhile, Eric Maddox, a sergeant of the Defense Intelligence Agency, started thinking beyond the cards in a completely different way. He saw that the people who were put on the most wanted list were mostly top officials of Saddam Hussein's government. Their power was from Saddam Hussein and not Saddam Hussein's power from them. At this time, if Saddam Hussein would need anyone the most, it would be his bodyguards. Saddam Hussein's bodyguards were divided into 3 categories. One used to protect his palace. The second would go in advance and clear the place where Saddam had to go. And the third were us. These guards used to stay with Saddam Hussein all the time. And at this time Saddam Hussein might need them the most. Eric Maddox decided to go to Saddam Hussein's hometown Tikrit to find these guards. There he interrogated the son of Muhammad Ibrahim Umar, one of Saddam Hussein's bodyguards. But this bodyguard was also missing somewhere. Then he met a very old servant of Saddam Hussein. He did not get much information from him, but he came to know that Saddam Hussein likes a dish called maskuf, which is made from a fish in Iraq. Here Maddox remembered that the son of Saddam Hussein's bodyguard Muhammad Ibrahim Umar had told during interrogation that his father is very fond of fishing, and he is also the owner of a fish farm which is located in a city named Samarra. When Maddox reached the fish farm, he did not find Muhammad Ibrahim Umar, but he did find 2 fishes. These fishes were not directly related to Ibrahim Umar, but one of them turned out to be the cousin of an Iraqi guerrilla fighter. Let us tell you here that when Saddam Hussein's throne was overthrown, his close military officials started a guerrilla war against the American military. It was believed that these guerrilla fighters work on the orders of Ibrahim Umar, who was Saddam Hussein's closest bodyguard. Mack here also mentioned about one of his uncles whose house is in Baghdad. Maddox along with his team surrounded that house in Baghdad in the hope that they might get some information from there, and surprisingly Ibrahim Umar was hiding there. Ibrahim Umar was Saddam Hussein's personal bodyguard, and he used to send a fish dish called maskuf to Saddam Hussein from his fish farm. Currently, he was leading a guerrilla war against the American military, and he was the only one who knew about Saddam Hussein's real location. After being arrested, he was not ready to tell anything. But when Maddox interrogated him and assured him that he and his family would be given citizenship in the US, then he started speaking. Ibrahim told that Saddam Hussein was hiding in a town called Ador. On his information, US troops started searching Ador town. There were 2 farmhouses on the banks of the Tigris River, but both were found empty. At that time, Ibrahim Umar, who was present with the troops, pointed towards the ground where a rope was lying. That rope was very long and was going inside a spider hole from inside the ground. The entrance of this spider hole was closed with a styrofoam. When this hole was opened, nothing was visible except darkness inside. At that very moment, a soldier was about to throw a hand grenade inside when 2 hands were seen coming out of that hole. It was a man with a long beard who said that my name is Saddam Hussein and I am the president of Iraq. The American army was successful in capturing Saddam Hussein alive. After 32 weeks of continuous efforts, Eric Maddox's efforts finally bore fruit. Later on analysis, it was seen that if Maddox had not known that Saddam Hussein liked a dish called mashkouf, then perhaps he would never have reached this far. Later, Iraq was attacked on the allegation that Saddam Hussein was hiding weapons of mass destruction there. We did not find them anywhere. And American President George Bush also confirmed that we did not find anything there. Hope you will like and share this video of ZemTV. Thank you very much for your loving comments. See you in the next great video.